All right, hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm back again. This is David with Columbus Literacy Council, and we are here with a walk in my shoes. And today we have Dee Porter. Dee Porter is a radio host that works out of Houston, Texas. Is that correct, Dee?
Dallas.
Dallas. I'm sorry, Dallas. Um, and we're gonna take a walk in her shoe today. So, but before we get into it, like, I just want to hear a little bit about yourself. So, tell us, Dee.
Okay, well, hi. I'm. You can call me D. You can call me Lil D. I'm a radio personality. I have been doing radio since 2005. Started in Shreveport, Louisiana, where I'm from, and then went to Ohio, where I was in Toledo, Columbus, Cleveland, and now Dallas. I'm in between radio stations at the moment, which is great because I'm exhausted from filming content to keep these bills paid. I'm also an author. Community activist, content creator, writer, ghostwriter, book editor, mentor. I do a lot. I sleep on Sundays though.
Yeah. Yeah. So the first question I wanted to ask you, Dee, since you mentioned that you do all of these things throughout the day and throughout the week, how do you time manage and how do you make sure that you are able to keep everything balanced and be able to accomplish everything on your list?
I have a dry erase board and I have a checklist, and I'm still kind of new to this. Like I got let go last April, and so I was kind of forced into this self employment life. And so 9 to 5s aren't really my jam. So first I had to like just be honest with myself, like, okay, listen, this whole get up at 9 and take a lunch is not gonna work for you. What do you want to do?
Yeah.
Wake up at 7, eat breakfast, and then film on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And like, so the way I keep myself together is I real life have a checklist. This is what we're gonna do for Instagram. This is what we're gonna do for this club. This is what we're gonna do for this. This is what you're gonna do for that. What time is it? Did you eat lunch? Okay.
Mhm.
And I just go through my list every day, and I don't put too much on it.
Yeah. So um I'm sure that's something that didn't just come upon you one day. You had to like develop that and
Oh
process.
yeah.
Yeah. So
I,
how was that? Like, can you recall to when you were younger, even when you were in high school, and like the thoughts that you went through your mind during that time?
oh man. Do kids still have like 7 classes every day in high school?
I think so. Yeah, different periods. Yeah.
That is ghetto. Ooh, that alone will have you structured. Like I went to a math and science magnet. I got an academic scholarship for college, like all tuition paid. Like I'm very smart, and so I've always been just on top of my stuff. I've always had a whole lot of homework, and I had a job after school. So like, imagine going to school, getting out at 3:30 or something, and then going to work at Popeyes from 4 to 10. You gotta do your homework during your lunch break. You gotta do your
Mhm.
homework when you get home, and then still wash the dishes and like take a shower and go to school. So I've always had that kind of mind. Like if I don't do this, I'm gonna fail this test. So
Mhm.
how can you get this math homework done? Oh, I can do it during my lunch break while I'm eating this Popeyes. Cool. And now when I get home, I only have science homework. Bit.
Yeah.
And so you just
And
you compartmentalize.
yeah, indeed. Did you go to college?
I went to LSU on a full academic scholarship and finished
Mhm.
with a 4.0 GPA. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, nice. LSU. What is LSU? Ellis. What does it stand for?
Louisiana State University.
Oh,
My
okay.
bad, I got y'all in Ohio. Yeah, I
Yeah.
actually went there. Started on radio my second semester of college, so I didn't finish college until I got to Toledo and finished in social work.
Nice. And is social work? Is that something that you had in mind already, or is something that
Yeah.
you just chose off the fly?
So my goal in life was to be a rapper, and I was gonna work for the Source magazine until I gotten famous or whatever, right?
Hmm.
So I went to school for communications, but when I started doing radio, my second semester, it was like, why are you in school for communications? It's stupid. So I focused on radio. When I got to Ohio to finish school, why did I pick social work? I don't know. It was like the only thing I cared about. Like, what
Yeah.
could I see myself doing if I'm not doing entertainment, helping people? So I
Mhm.
picked social work.
Yeah.
And it
And
wound up being such amazing education. Like, I really learned a lot. I use my social work education. Like, meet people where they are. Stop worrying about how they got here. Get out their business. Don't judge people. There's so many things you learn. It's really dope.
yeah. So taking it back to when you weren't in school, like, were there any mentors or anybody that was older than you that you looked up to based on what they did or how they acted?
Oh man, yes. honestly, I have an aunt. She's a therapist, and it's so cool because she was on like a few episodes of Real Housewives of Atlanta, so like she like kind of famous. But anyway, before she was all famous and whatever, she was just my aunt. But it's cool
Uh-huh.
because she's only like 8 years older than me.
Hmm.
And so here she is. I'm in high school. She's in college and about to finish, get her master's degree. And it's cool to have somebody who you can text who is handling their business, but they still like cool. They still like,
Yeah.
dress well. And high school that matters. You can't look up to somebody who's lame. It don't work. But like
Yeah,
with
I
her,
feel you.
like,
I
she
feel you.
was still cool. And she kept her hair done, her nails done, and like she would take me places and she gave me my first real job. And it's cool to be able to see someone within reach.
Hmm.
We have Instagram when I was in high school, you
So it
know.
was somebody that that looked like you, somebody who was smart, but at the same time,
Period.
like they were fly. They knew how to take care of business. So that's someone you looked up to.
Yeah, that's why I went to LSU because she went there.
Hmm. Yeah. So
And
so you think that that's like a good pathway to find someone that might look like you or have the same experience as you to follow.
100%. I have a nonprofit where I do that. It's a program called 12 Days of Christmas. I did it in Columbus too, where
Hmm.
I pick 12 girls and I let them mentor or shadow 12 women in their career field so they can literally do it and see that it's not a dream, it's a goal. Here's somebody who looks just like you, who already did it, who's doing it right now, and you're doing it with her today. It's representation really, really matters. We have been brought up and taught from such a Eurocentric type of point of view that we don't even understand that there are so many black doctors and skaters and country singers and designers and veterinarians.
Hmm.
We need to normalize it. And the more you see it, the more normal and regular it becomes.
Yeah. And can you take me through a time in your life where you went through like a difficult situation or where you had to make a choice and how you went about it?
Oh, let me tell you about it. In 2011, I made a choice to be homeless.
Okay. Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah. So I was on radio in Toledo. I got
Uh-huh.
fired. And in the midst of getting fired, I was hustling and doing what I could do and trying. I had gotten a job in Cleveland part time. Cleveland and
Hmm.
Toledo are only 2 hours away. But I was
Hmm.
only on the radio one day a week, so I couldn't move to Cleveland for $200. So I'm traveling back and forth, and I couldn't pay my rent in Toledo. So I got evicted. What are you gonna do? Go 16 hours back home to Louisiana and quit your radio job that you just got after a year and a half of being fired, or are you gonna stay up here and figure it out? So it took me about 2.5 seconds to go, well, guess I need to put my stuff in storage, um, and find a motel that I can pay every week and figure it out.
Hmm.
It was the most it was one of the most difficult times in my life because I didn't take care of myself the way I should have.
Hmm.
Um, I want to tell you this romantic story of how I struggled and didn't eat for 2 days. And I did that every week because I had a dream and I was at that station and no one even knew I was homeless. And all of that's true. Hosting
Yeah.
concerts, being on air and sleeping on the couch and doing all of this for radio. But what it really was is I didn't love myself enough to ask for help.
Hmm. And is that like the biggest takeaway you took
Yeah.
from that experience to ask for help?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
as well, this was in 2011, right? I wrote the book in
Hmm.
20 this book actually about the whole thing in
Yeah.
2019. And I went on a book tour and I was, I would talk about how, I really didn't eat and like, I chose this and it worked out. The gamble paid off because I do radio and I would choose it again. But it hit me in February. I was speaking and promoting the book and I was like, yo, you weren't homeless because you ain't had no money. You were homeless because you didn't open your mouth.
Hmm.
My rent was $300.
Yeah.
$300 might sound like a lot if you don't have no job yet. You might not be working yet, but my car note is 320.
Right.
I could have
Yeah.
asked 10 people for $30 and paid my rent, but instead I didn't have enough love for myself to say, yo, it's okay and you don't deserve to be hungry. Why
Hmm.
don't you do what you need to do and ask for help?
Hmm. I think that's kind of cool though, because it shows you that how perspective changes through time.
Yes.
Because
The
like
more you
I
know,
know that now, if you were to go back to 2011, you would completely handle that situation
I'm
differently.
I'm sending text messages, phone calls. Listen, here's a situation that's going on. I'm not asking you for all 300, but do you have $50? I probably can't pay you back, but here's what's going on. When I finally told my friends what was going on, they didn't go, "Oh no," they cussed me out. Like they dog, what? Are you serious? And you didn't ask us for help? What's wrong with you? The more the more you love yourself, the more you attract people who love you.
Right.
And the more
Ooh, I
you
like that.
realize that you don't have to struggle. It's okay. You deserve to not struggle.
Yeah. So it's no longer 2011, it's 2022. So now bring us up to date. Like, so what is it like in a day in your shoes now in
Dang.
2022?
Yeah. Okay. So, since I am not currently on radio,
Hmm.
a day in my shoes is unpredictable, but I'll try to give you what's going on today. I film
Yeah.
content on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So I wake up
Okay.
at 7 every morning. The first thing I do before I do anything else is start naming things I'm grateful for. Immediately. After
Hmm.
that, I'm gonna meditate, listen to my anti-anxiety playlist. We're actually in my closet right now. This is where I like to sit and just kind of, gather
Oh no
myself.
way. That's not.
Mm.
That's a nice closet.
I know, right? Shout out to my closet.
Yeah.
It's definitely a focal point of my crib. But
Uh huh.
yeah, I like my mantra. Today is a great day, and that's up to me. It's what I've decided, so it's what will
Hmm.
be.
Right.
After that, we get busy. So, I film content, whether it's for the run club I have coming up or my love lessons flashcards that I'm getting ready to put out. But TikToks, Instagrams, Reels. So I'm bringing my humongous tripod with me, green screen, change of clothes, faces done.
Hmm.
We film. Um, Whatever I get done. After that, I have a syndicated entertainment report that plays in South Carolina and Myrtle Beach and Florence and soon to be Nashville. So I come back and I film that in the same closet, microphone. So I'm show prepping, seeing what's going on in entertainment news, whether Lizzo got a new man or if Courtney really married Travis. Um,
Right.
I'll film that, record that, email that in, finish with that. I'm in the middle of ghostwriting a book. So my client is in jail. And so
Mm.
we like communicate with each other back and forth through messages. I'm getting info from him to get this side of the story. Let's write some more on here, researching dates and locations and making sure I'm staying in his voice. Oh, and the last thing I have to do today is help my friend film content because
Mhm.
she's a cook and she needs content too.
Yeah. So
All of
I
this will
like
be done by like 9 o'clock
9 o'clock. So your day is from 7 to 9 on Tuesdays,
and Thursday.
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, I
Okay.
cook
Uh,
on Mondays and Wednesdays so I can have leftovers.
mhm. So you plan ahead. You
Oh,
plan.
Pierre, you got to. You
Yeah.
got to when you don't have a job. Life is a little different when you're not on salary and
Hmm.
literally every single dollar that you have, you had to work for. Like there
Hmm.
is no, I still get paid. No, I won't. No, I
Right.
gotta finish the project if I want this check.
Right. So, like I told you earlier, we service youth between the ages of 16 and 24, and a lot of them, when they come to us asking for advice, they tell us that they want to be content creators or they want to be
Mhm.
YouTube stars or Instagram, TikTok. Um, since you're in this kind of field, can you tell us the importance of actually what it's like to take this stuff seriously? That this is not just a social app, but this is
Hmm.
actually something that can provide for them.
It's a job. It is
Mhm.
a job. So like it's cute to say, I'm gonna make some TikToks. And sure you will, but this is strategic. Like people don't go viral on accident most of the time. People have been at it for so long. Not just that, but you don't have to go viral to make a living off of it. I got friends who are getting checks, consistent checks from YouTube. Like they're not $1 million checks yet, but they $100 checks, $200-300. So like, that's cool. And it took them a year and a half to get there. And I'm talking a year and a half of every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday they putting out a video
Yeah.
in their niche, starting from 17 views and working their way up. Like I have spent a significant amount of money on my tripod and ring light,
Mhm.
my USB microphone that travels with me so I can speak whenever I need to and it sounds good. I'm literally talking to you right after getting back from filming content outside. I probably smell, but I didn't have time to shower because I just have to throw on a dress and do this. Um, it's hard when you're different outfits, different angles. Like it's a job, and
Mhm.
I think people need to understand that just because you're not clocking in or you don't have a boss, you're self-employed, and
Mhm.
so what you put into it is what you're gonna get out of it. Like again, it's real fun, but it's a job. What's
Hmm.
trending? Oh, I don't like this sound. It don't matter. It's trending. You gonna do it or no?
Yeah.
There is no playtime. Like, it's still a job. If you want to make a living from this,
Hmm.
it's harder than going to work at a factory for 12 hours.
Yeah. So it's not just creating the content; it's also staying up to date with the trends and staying up to date with what's going on.
Being creative. How can you do it the way that no one else did it? Like, there are two people right now. I tell you, but I don't want to embarrass them. But they copy a lot of things that I do, like blatantly copy things I do, and when I look at it, it's funny to me because it's like, girl, you could never do it as good as me because I had to use every inch of my apartment. Then I went to the park. Then I went here, and then I did that part, and then I went there. Then I went downtown, and that's just for a 12-second video. Imagine, nah, imagine doing all that work. Hmm. So it's like, yeah, you can skip college if you want to, but you better be on YouTube University. Like, it's not a game because you're still gonna at some point have to pay these bills.
Yeah.
It'd be
And,
harder to explain to people who haven't like paid bills every month, but
right. Right. Right.
like money don't money don't come out of nowhere. You gotta make it.
Yeah. And to you, or can you tell us from your experience, like how important it is to learn the software that's available out there?
Whew, yes, I learned it because I couldn't afford to pay anybody to do it.
Hmm.
So I know the entire Adobe suite. So I know how to edit videos. I know Photoshop. I know how to edit audio in Adobe Audition, and I literally use all of those. I've been doing like funny sketch comedy and stuff like that since like 2013, before it was even cool. But
Yeah.
anyway, we didn't have anybody to edit it,
Yeah.
so I was like, well, let me see if I can. I learned audio first because you learn that through radio, doing
Hmm.
commercials. And if you just pay attention and learn, like, they'll teach you. And so if you know how to edit one thing, you can learn the rest. And I really taught myself like YouTube tutorials. How do you, like, from scratch for dummies, for beginners, And now I'm getting paid to edit videos, which really comes in handy when you're not on the radio getting a salary, right? So
Right.
now it's like, hey, Lil D, can you edit this video for me? I sure can. And here's what it's gonna cost because it's gonna take me 12 hours and I'm gonna need this much money. You gonna pay? Thank you. Oh, I just paid
Mhm.
my rent off of one project from something I learned 10 years ago.
Nice.
You're
Yeah.
self-sufficient.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and they were telling me that one of the things that they look to when they're in a part of a team or even a part of a job is that they look to be a asset instead of a liability.
What
And
all can you do?
yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
what
better
all are
to
you?
know more, even if you think you're not going to use it. Like for example, like
Yeah.
today, someone can learn how to use Photoshop and might not use it, but like 5 years down the line, they're like, we need someone who knows how to edit.
Cause like with okay, so there's an app called Canva, right?
Yeah,
I use Canva a lot. Canva is basically like Photoshop for your phone.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
I use Canva a lot. And because I know Photoshop, I'm able to go to Photoshop and like there's a part of Canva called Magic Eraser where it'll take the background out of your picture. Sometimes
Mhm.
it like takes too much out. Well, I know Photoshop, so I can go do that myself real quick. Now let
Yeah.
me put this back in Canva and finish it on my phone.
Mhm.
Like once you learn one skill and it opens your brain up and you start to respect yourself enough to realize you're smart enough to learn everything, be a sponge and absorb because you don't have to go to college and sit in 8 million classes, but you're gonna learn something. You're gonna go to school.
Mhm.
Because if you don't, you're not gonna get ahead. School don't have to be a classroom. But
Yeah.
if you don't learn, you're not gonna make the money.
And can you tell us about like what you think about the aspect of these sources actually being available, but it's just up to the person that's not looking for them, or they're not willing to go and do the homework.
I think sometimes people need to know where to go.
Hmm.
But one cannot get what they're not willing to search for. And so
Yeah.
even if you don't know what you need, if you know you want to be a videographer, go find a videographer and say, "Hey, I want to be a videographer. I don't know what the first step is, but do you?"
Hmm.
Until you open your mouth, you can't get help.
Yeah.
And it's really that simple. You had to ask someone to help you to tie your shoes. You had to ask someone to help you with this homework if you couldn't get it. You had to ask someone to move out of your way and say, "Excuse me." It's literally simple.
Hmm.
It, hmm. People love helping people who are trying to help themselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I
And
like that.
The more you help yourself, the more you're gonna attract people to you who are like, yo, they are working so hard. If they just had this, I'm gonna help them get it.
Hmm.
I do that for people because you see yourself in others.
So
And
network is what you're saying. Like
oh
it's
yeah,
important to stay
but like
in
belief
touch.
in self before you do that. You gotta know. You have to know that you can do it. And if you don't fully know, you better start lie to yourself until it becomes the truth. Like seriously, because if you
Yeah,
don't have that belief, you're not gonna go after it.
yeah, yeah,
Believe
yeah.
in self and then go for it. Talk to people. A lot of people are very mean, but a lot of people aren't. I'm
Hmm.
pretty friendly.
Hmm. Yeah, you're pretty friendly. Like we just started talking what like 30 minutes ago, and
You
it
hear me?
was
Like
like I know you already.
I'm very nice. Like, it's some people out there who'll help,
Yeah.
who'll sincerely be like, okay, I see you trying. Let me put you on some game real quick.
Hmm. So in essence, so basically, if you look or if you're willing to put the work in, someone will put a helping hand out there for you.
Yeah, don't think that just because you work real hard for 2 days that it's coming. It might take a couple weeks. It might take some months. It might take a year.
Hmm.
You keep working and believing in self, and it's coming. It's
Yeah.
the thing. It's coming. I've tried to work in Dallas 3 times: 2008, 2013, and I finally got here in 2018.
Yeah.
And me sitting here right now, not on the radio, I can still tell you it was the best decision ever because I'll be back on the radio. Ain't worry about that.
Right. Right.
But
Right.
I'm in a place where I make enough to still be here,
Yeah.
not on the radio. And that's because
So,
I use my brain. You learn, you apply the knowledge, and you talk to people.
mhm. Since you're talking about the radio, I want to do like something a little fun if you're cool with it. Um,
Okay.
yes, can you like go through us and like tell us like some of your catchphrases or your lines that you usually do and like do it in your radio voice? Because I know it's different from your regular voice to your radio voice, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's funny. So in Columbus, I had a show called Word I Heard Radio. So what was the Columbus one? Ricky Smiley in the morning? Ooh, I don't even remember. Power 10, what is it? 1075?
Yeah, 107.5.
Dang, it's been a minute. Power 1075. Ooh. Okay, I don't remember it. What was the one here? 97 on the B, DFW's hip hop station. The home of Ricky Smiley in the morning. It's Lil D. Word I Heard Radio, where if they talking, I'm telling. The word I heard is Rihanna is doing pregnancy the right way, honey. Listen, I can't wait for somebody to put a baby in me so I can just flaunt and be naked. It's like she waited to get child to not have clothes, and I love it for her. Type stuff.
That is awesome. so
Whew.
so when you do that, is that something you practice or is it something that just comes
Nah,
like
I
straight
was
off
just
the mind?
talking. I was just talking. I don't know what I said.
Really? That's so cool.
It's a
So
skill. People don't understand there's a skill.
right. So it's a communication skill, but at the same time, you always have to be like always doing your homework. So you're like
Yeah. Quick
in
on your
touch with what's
feet.
going on.
And that's something that comes after time. Like
Hmm.
you might want to be a radio personality or a podcaster and you get on the first time and it's it's not what you thought it was gonna be. Okay. Do it again and then do it again. The first time I was on radio, oh my god, I was a co-host, right? 4 hour
Hmm.
night show. And for 4 hours, literally all I said the whole time was, I'm chilling. That's it for 4 hours. It was terrible. And look
Yeah.
at me.
All right. So, D, we're coming towards the end, but before, like I said, before we go, I want us to continue this fun that we're having, and I want to see if you're able to like do kind of like your radio voice with what we're doing today. So, um, talk about so we are called the Columbus Literacy Council, and we work for the AMP program. The AMP program works with kids between the ages of 16 and 24, and we help them so they can find employment and find a career path in school. So if you can incorporate that in some type of intro, that would be the coolest
Columbus
thing.
Literacy and what's the name
Columbus
of the other
Literacy
one?
Council, AMP.
Oh, AMP program.
Uh huh. Yeah.
All right, Columbus Literacy
Okay.
Council and
No
AMP
pressure.
program.
No pressure.
What up? What up? It's Lil D. Listen, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. And that's why it's always number one with the Columbus Literacy program. Columbus Literacy. What? Let me write it down.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead. No, that was awesome
I'm not
already.
about to kill it. Literacy Council
Hmm.
and AMP program. All right. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What up? It's Lil D. Hold on. Sorry, let me act like I got some sense since I'm talking about the
Okay.
Columbus Literacy Council. Big shout out to them and the AMP program. I appreciate y'all for having me. Listen, if you're not locked in with them, I don't know what you're doing because that's where it is if you're in Columbus, period.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. D or Lil D, thank you so much for all this great insight that you said. It's awesome to have someone from a different perspective because usually, like I said, we have lawyers, doctors, accountants come and talk to us, but it's cool to have someone else like in the entertainment business.
It's really
And
fun using this side of your brain.
yeah, and I know like a lot of the kids
Scary.
that we work with have aspirations to work for TV or radio, but they don't know like where they can start. So you who has been here living in Ohio and in Columbus, like can you
Mhm.
give us any places or where a good place for someone who's interested to start?
So I worked at the broadcast school, the Ohio Media School there. The best thing I would say about that is you can have it and get internships.
Mhm.
Start ask Channel 10. Talk to the radio personalities at Power because I know for a fact Jay Esquire will talk to you. I know for a fact DJ Mr. King will talk to you. That's two right there. That's two of the most valuable people at the station. DJ Mr. King's also an assistant principal, so like he talks to kids every day.
Yeah.
So and Jay Esquire worked at a middle school. So
Mhm.
and she's a DJ. And like both of them are DJs, radio personalities, hosts. They both know different software. They know TV people. What I'm telling you is these are two people I personally know who are very friendly, who will reach out and will reach back to you. Like if I shoot them a text like, hey, some kids might be hitting you up, they will say, bet, you already know. That's your way in. That's called networking. Hey, Lil D said it's cool if I hit you up. So
Mhm.
now that's two people where you can start. The media school is a good place to start. Um, the TV stations. Go to the TV station website, look for all the anchors, or if you want to be a producer, look for the producers. You know what I mean? And shoot
Mhm.
them all emails. If you shoot 40 people emails, three might email you back.
Right.
Email those three back. Thank you so much for responding. What can somebody my age and my situation do to do? Nothing. But when you turn 18, okay, keep her email address.
Mhm.
And like, you know what I mean? Like it's things you can do. So just start now. TV
Mhm.
stations, go to the websites, go find these people, find their
Yeah.
LinkedIn pages. And
Yeah.
most importantly, if you use the left side of your brain, don't let people discourage you. It's gonna
Mhm.
be people who tell you like, no, this is stupid. You need to go to like I'm the only person in my family who did radio. All my family is teachers. Like
Mhm.
radio, what is that? And it made me feel really bad about it for a long time. It might
Yeah.
be longer for you. It might be harder for you before you start making that check. And you might have to go get you a 9 to 5 before you do it. But listen, don't be discouraged because someone who uses the other side of their brain doesn't understand that you use this side.
Yeah.
Both sides are okay.
Mhm. And you kind of did it already, but I want to give you the spotlight one more time. Just if there's a youth that's watching this today and they're going through some, like, what's a piece of advice that you could give to them?
Wake up and thank yourself for three things that you do, whether it's going to school or doing good on your test or you like the way you dress. Anytime you get to that point where you're down on yourself, start naming things you're grateful for yourself for. I'm grateful that I wake up at 7 because it gives me time before everybody else wakes up to get stuff done. I'm grateful that I got to do this interview because hopefully somebody gets something out of it. Listen, I I just adapted this attitude maybe a year ago, and so I know what it's like when you don't talk to yourself well, when you're mean to yourself, and when you feel like you can't do it because you don't know anyone else who did. That just means you're gonna be the first. It's
Mhm.
scary. Change is scary. It's uncomfortable, but see success for yourself and nothing else. If all you see is success, what is failure? It doesn't
Mhm.
exist.
Awesome. I think that's a great place to stop. So thank you again, D. Thank you for stopping by and talking to us today.
Thanks for having me.
Um,
It was
yes,
great.
and of course, and for all of you watching at home, thank you so much for joining with us today. And like I always tell you, we will see you guys next time. Thank you.